Hi everybody. Um, so here's what happened to me. I came home from work the other day and there was a large hole in the wall at the bottom of my stairs. Apparently, my kids had put on my son's football helmet, got into a plastic laundry container and were sliding down the stairs, had hit the wall and made a huge hole in the wall. So they say that if you were bad as a little kid, your kids will be 100 times worse. So here's what I did to deserve the whole football crashing incident. In this speech, I'm going to share a few things with you. Um, I'll share a few things that I did as a child that were fun, but kind of bad. Um, I'll start with things that I did as a young child, some naughty things I did in school, and finally, some teenage hijinks. I was a fun-loving but naughty child who loved water balloons and getting into trouble. I grew up in a house where our backyard backed up to a busy street and with a single mom who worked a lot. One summer when my mom was at work, I made a ton of water balloons, a ton. So I went into our backyard and I threw them over the fence into the street, kind of a busy street. So some of them hit cars, some of them hit the road and splattered. I was laughing hysterically the whole time. The expression on people's faces were they were shocked, they were angry. Some people laughed. I was laughing, of course, hilariously. Towards the end of my balloon throwing extravaganza, I hit a lady's windshield who happened to be driving with her young child, and she kind of swerved and almost crashed into our fence. So she was really angry. She drove around the corner to the front of our house and banged on the door and told us off. Luckily for me, my mom, who worked 2 or 3 jobs while we were growing up, was at work, so it was my older sister was there, and she handled it. She just apologized profusely, and so I didn't get in trouble, but I did have to do all of her chores for like 2 weeks so that she didn't tell on me. That's my first bad thing I did as a child. I also was kind of naughty at school. I was always the class clown. I was smart and entertaining, but I had a lot of fun and terrorized the heck out of my teachers. I was always the kid that was wanting to read out loud in the class too, so I could entertain everyone and make myself laugh. It drove all the teachers crazy and got me in a lot of trouble. So there was a boy named Wilson or Williams in our class. And he was a friend of mine that I always liked to play and have fun with. And my best friend, Carrie Ingmeyer, was also in that class. So when I went to school, when I was in elementary school forever ago, we had chairs and the slats went down like this and they connected the chairs. So Josh got up to sharpen his pencil and I swiped his bottle of Elmer's glue from his desk. I took the lid off and I put the bottle of glue underneath the slats. When he came back from sharpening his pencil, he sat down and the entire bottle of glue squirted all over the carpet. Everybody in the class was laughing. They thought it was super funny. My teacher, Miss Bechtel, who hated me, saw it, was furious, sent Josh to the principal's office. He got in a huge amount of trouble. The carpet was ruined. Jerry and I had probably one of the best days of the year. That was thing number 2 I did to deserve these naughty children that I have. I did a lot of other things. I was just basically a class clown and had a lot of good fun times. And then as I progressed to maybe my teenage years, the trouble continued. As a teenager, I would steal my mom's car before I had my driver's license. Where I grew up in Reno, there's this lake called Pyramid Lake. So we would all cut school and I would steal my mom's car and load up all my friends and we'd go and have fun at the lake until school got out or our parents came home and then we'd come back. We did this pretty regularly. Sometimes I would sneak out of the house and steal my mom's car there to go to parties or just go around the town, pick my friends up, that kind of thing. We lived in a 2-story house, so one night my parents were still up and I had a party to go to, so I couldn't sneak out the front door. So I tied a bunch of bedroom sheets to my bedpost and I lowered myself out the second story window on sheets. I snuck down there, snuck around the front to the house. My mom's car was parked on the street. I knew my parents would be falling asleep early, my mom and my stepdad. And I snuck, she had a magnet key up under the side of the car. People used to do that when I was younger. If they locked themselves out of their car, they would just be able to find it. So I drove her, took her car, picked up my friends, we went to a party. When I came home about 2 or 3 in the morning, my parents had noticed that I was gone, the window was open, and there was a sheet hanging out. As I came under the window, my mom and stepdad leaned over, waved at me, shook the sheet and said, "Are you looking for this?" Drug my butt back in the inside. Needless to say, I didn't think that part was too funny, and I did get in a lot of trouble. My mother found out that I had taken the car. She was furious. As a result, what my mom started to do was she would take eggs, raw eggs, and she'd wedge them under the tires. So when I would back, usually she parked in the driveway. That one night that I took the car, she just happened to park in the street. But anytime I would back out of the driveway, I would run over and crush the eggs. So I probably stole the car 2 or 3 times before I realized, hey, there's all these eggshells. And I was busted and grounded. I have 6 kids that are a handful and a lot of fun. Being naughty as a child makes you a little bit more understanding when your kids are naughty. What I've done is, since I was naughty, I understand it's not a huge deal, and I tend not to overreact. It's not the end of the world. It's just some naughtiness, maybe a little bit of fun. The bottom line is that my kids get really good grades, and they're good people that have grown up fine. I have 2 college grads who are working on their masters. I have my number 3 is at Davis and has maintained a 4.0 throughout her entire academic career there with a really heavy workload. My number 4 is a sophomore at Chico, and I have 2 middle schoolers. All my college kids have been on the dean's list throughout their entire college careers, and all of my kids are really outstanding scholar athletes, but they still have that crazy, wild, naughtiest, hilarious streak that I love. The hardest part of being a naughty child is being a serious parent. I struggle with being mad when the kids misbehave instead of laughing until I cry. And I have to admit, I have egged a house or 2 with my kids. I guess old habits die hard. It really is fun, and some of these people are asking for it. In summary, I had a ton of fun being the naughtiest, most hilarious kid in our neighborhood. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so I'm glad my kids are a little bit crazy, but only a little, and I realize I probably deserve it.